It started like any ordinary day on Verbena Station, a joint colony orbiting the blue gas giant Arthas IX. The station was home to 12,000 souls, humans and aliens working side by side, building what they called a new dawn of peace. Captain Elias Ward had been there since the beginning. A soldier turned engineer, he found comfort in the hum of the station's reactor and the quiet laughter of his crew. To him, humanity had finally found a place where guns were silent and hands were busy building rather than destroying. He would often watch the alien children small, bright-eyed Catharine play in the hydroponic gardens alongside human kids. There was hope there, real hope, but the galaxy had a cruel way of punishing hope. The day before it happened, Elias shared a drink with his Catharine friend, Ryan. The two joked about how humans were slow but stubborn, how they never gave up. "You humans," Ryan said, "you break before you bend." Laughed at that. He didn't know it would be the last time he'd hear Rin's voice. That night, the stars outside the viewport shimmered with eerie stillness. Somewhere, far beyond them, someone had decided that humanity's place in the galaxy had grown too loud. The peace they had built was about to be shattered. It started as a tremor barely noticeable. Then, the lights flickered. A deep vibration rolled through the metal bones of the station, followed by a blaring alarm that sent cold dread through the crew quarters. "Impact on Deck 3, someone shouted over the intercom. "Hull breach, we're losing pressure." Elias sprinted down the corridor, his boots echoing against the steel floor. The sound of screaming filled the comms. Through the viewport, he saw them ships, not pirates, not scavengers, warships. The insignia on their hulls was unmistakable. The Worth Dominion, a species that once traded with humans, now turning their weapons on them. Explosions tore through the outer rings of Verbena Station. Fire and vacuum devoured entire sections. Elias reached the command deck, gasping. Why are they attacking us? No one knew. The Dominion had sent no warning, no message, just destruction. The last transmission before the signal died was from a nearby human freighter. Elias stared in disbelief. His world, the fragile peace they'd built, was burning. And every instinct in him screamed that this was not an accident. This was a purge. By the third hour, half the station was gone. Fires raged in zero gravity, plasma licking the corridors like hungry ghosts. Elias and a handful of survivors huddled in the reactor bay, his home, now their last stand. He tried to contact Rin's sector. No response. The lethargic habitats had been hit first. When he finally managed to access the security feed, his breath caught in his throat. The Worth weren't just attacking, they were executing. Civilians, scientists, children. Elias' face hardened. Something inside him broke. He remembered Rin's words, "You break before you bend." Not this time. With shaking hands, Elias opened the emergency archive, classified human contingency plans, ones they were never supposed to use. Deep inside the reactor systems was a protocol called Black Harvest. It was meant for planetary defense. It could turn the station's reactor into a focused plasma weapon, powerful enough to vaporize a fleet. He looked at the feed again, at the dead, at the betrayal, and made his choice. "They wanted to see what happens when you anger humans," he whispered. Show them." Elias and the remaining crew worked in grim silence. The station trembled under constant bombardment. Every second brought another explosion, another friend lost. The control panels sparked as he rerouted power from life support to the reactor. Sweat dripped down his face, his lungs burning from the smoke. "Elias, if you trigger that core, it'll kill us too," one of the engineers warned. He met her eyes steady, resolved. "Then we die with them watching." The reactor began to glow, a blinding sphere of blue-white plasma forming at its heart. Outside, the Worth ships closed in for the final strike. Elias input the final code and pressed his hand against the biometric scanner. The system chimed. Black Harvest, armed. In the command feed, he saw the Worth commander's ship turning toward them. Arrogant, certain of victory. "Not today," Elias muttered. The station erupted in a pulse of searing light. For a moment, the void itself seemed to scream. The blast tore through space, cutting across the enemy formation like a god's hand. When the light faded, there was nothing left of the Worth fleet. Only drifting ash and silence. Elias collapsed beside the console, breathing weakly, as systems failed one by one. His final words were a whisper. "You don't break us, you forge us." 3 days later, a human recovery team found the ruins of Verbena Station. The transmission logs told the story every second recorded, every scream preserved. The Galactic Council called it an unfortunate tragedy. But among humans, it became legend. The event marked the beginning of a new era the day humanity stopped asking for peace and started demanding respect. Across the stars, the message was clear. You can threaten them. You can betray them. But if you anger humans, if you take from them what they love, they will not stop. Not until justice burns brighter than the stars. And in the wreckage of Verbena Station, the recovered log of Captain Elia's ward still played on repeat, a faint voice through static.